Most people don't realize how much better and cheaper hummus is when you make it from scratch. I'm going to show you a quick and easy recipe where you can make hummus from dried beans in an Instant Pot, or you can make that same recipe with canned beans, and it's so delicious and so much creamier and cheaper than store-bought hummus. I'm also going to show you how to make a delicious Bulgur salad, and we're going to combine those to make a delicious wrap for your lunchbox or for a picnic. To make our hummus, I am going to start from dry beans this time. Now this is completely unnecessary, but it is a little bit cheaper than buying canned beans. You can do this with a can of beans, and I'll show you how to mix it up once our beans are cooked. But I went ahead and soaked a cup of these beans last night, and so they're all soaked. I'm going to put them into my Instant Pot, and then I'm going to fill this with water, about half full, or at least covering the beans by 2 or 3 inches. I like using the Instant Pot because it cooks the beans so fast. It cuts the time in more than half. I would normally have to cook garbanzo beans for at least 4 hours, and in here less than 30 minutes. The reason I like to cook garbanzo beans from dry for hummus is because you can overcook the beans and get them nice and soft for your hummus, so when you blend it up it's super creamy. Let's go ahead and turn that on. I don't add anything to the beans when I put them in this Instant Pot. And we're going to turn it on pressure cook. We want to make sure that this is sealed. I'm going to go 30 minutes today. So let's go ahead and let that get started. So our chickpeas are all cooked. I went ahead and drained out the excess water. I like to put them into the food processor while they're hot. That way they get all blended up and more creamy. If you're using canned chickpeas, that's no problem. You want to use about 1 can of chickpeas, about 1.5 technically for what we're doing right here. You can always adjust your seasonings if you do more or less. So let's go ahead and put these in and blend them super, super smooth before we add anything else, okay? What's great about hummus is there are just a few key ingredients. We want to add in a 1/2 cup or 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and we want a 1/4 cup of tahini. If you don't know tahini, this is what it might look like. You can get it in your grocery store, and this, you want it to be nice and stirred because if you don't stir it, you're going to get more oil than you do tahini. So I'm just going to guesstimate on the tahini. I want about a 1/4 cup, about the same amount of tahini as I had lemon juice. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and chop my garlic just a smidge. It doesn't have to be super chopped, but I don't want chunks of garlic in there. And then I'm going to add some cumin. And also a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Oh no! You know what I forgot? I forgot to save my aquafaba. No worries, I have some in the freezer. So I'm going to grab some of that because that aquafaba is what's going to make this nice and fluffy without having to use too much oil. If you don't know what aquafaba is, I probably should have explained that just a smidge. It is bean juice. That's all it is. Aquafaba is bean juice. All right, and then we're going to blend that up. Oops, let's go this way. And again, we're just blending this till it's super smooth. Typically, hummus is super high in calories because it's got a lot of oil. I like to add aquafaba in place of some of the oil. It makes it just a little bit fluffy and creamy. So that's what we're going to do. I'm also going to add a little bit of this Za'atar seasoning. It is optional. It's a Middle Eastern spice, and it's really good. It's a spice blend, and I have some on hand, so I'm going to use it. You do not have to, and we're going to do about a teaspoon. About a 1/2 teaspoon, I mean. You can also add some more sumac. There's sumac in the Za'atar, and I use these in the Bulgur salad, so I'm just going to add them to this also, so the flavors complement each other, if that makes any sense at all. Let's go ahead and give that a blend. Okay, that's looking really good, but it's not creamy enough. I'm going to add, now this is aquafaba. You see it's in these containers. This is a great tip. If you are using chickpeas for something and you don't need the aquafaba for that day, these little containers that you get in your set that you can't think of anything else to do with, they hold about an egg's worth of aquafaba. So if you want to use aquafaba as an egg replacer. Today we're using it as an oil replacer. And we're just going to dump that whole thing in there. It's about a 1/4 cup. And I've got a little bit more in case I need it. All right, let's scrape down those sides. Oh, yeah. I forgot to add a little bit of salt. So let's do that. And I think it's done. It's delicious. Let's blend that up one more time and we're going to call it done. I'm so excited. All right, there's our hummus. Smooth and creamy. We are going to turn this hummus into a fantastic wrap that you can put in your lunchbox or take on a picnic or wherever you want to go. To do that, we're going to make a bulgur salad. To make the salad, we're going to add bulgur wheat to boiling water. If you've not worked with bulgur wheat before, it's easily found at any grocery store, and it's the base for a lot of Mediterranean dishes and for Mediterranean salad like tabbouleh. So we add 2 cups to our water, and then we're going to stir that together until everything is all mixed up, and then we just want to set that aside until it gets all nice and fluffy, which takes about 10 minutes. Once it's nice and fluffy like this, it's going to soak up all that water, and we can add it to our bowl to make our salad. We're going to start with lemon juice, and you could use bottled or fresh. And I'm also going to add in just a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And then to that we want to put in some cayenne pepper, just a smidge, and then some dried mint. And we're also going to add in some cumin and salt. And then some dried parsley. I am going to add some of this Za'atar seasoning. It is a Middle Eastern spice that you can find at your grocery store. And if you don't have it, you can leave it out, but I like it because it really makes this salad taste like you got it from a Middle Eastern restaurant, and it's very good. I also am going to add a little bit of sumac. And that's another one of those Middle Eastern spices that's going to give you that restaurant flavor. If you don't have those, you can leave it out. The salad is still very tasty without it. And now I'm going to add in a can of chickpeas and stir that all together until the dressing and the spices are all mixed in and covering each bit of that bulgur wheat. Now it's time to start adding some delicious vegetables to this. I like to add in lots of veggies. You can add as many as you like. This is cucumber. You could do 1 or 2 cucumbers here, depending on the size of your cucumber. And then we're adding in some diced bell peppers. I'm using all the different colors because that's the way I like it, and it makes everything look pretty. And lastly, we have some tomatoes. I'm using Roma tomatoes because they're a little less juicy and they will hold up. Oh, and then we have some onions. I'm using white onions here, but I would have preferred green onions. I didn't have any and I couldn't find it at the store today. So let's stir all that together. This is one beautiful salad. It looks like a party in a bowl with all that confetti looking peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers. Isn't that fantastic? To make the wrap, I'm going to use this Extreme Wellness wrap, and I am just going to add a little bit of hummus to that and spread it out on my wrap. Oops, that's a little challenging. Let's get both hands free here. Okay, there we go. And we're going to add to that a couple spoonfuls of this bulgur salad. This salad is one that my husband likes to take work almost every day in the summertime because it's so good. And we just wrap that up And there's your sandwich. Doesn't that look fantastic? I'm so excited to try this. If you're looking for some more great summer recipes, then check out the playlist right here. It's so good.